data on the shots, and other things.
Other things. What is up, profitable stylists? Here we go this week. We are talking about the fine line between sounding arrogant and confident. So this is going to be a fun topic this week because Bernard had no idea what we were talking about.
None. When you were saying it, I was like, did you ask me for a topic this week, or you
I
just made that
did.
one up?
No.
Okay.
No, actually, I didn't ask you for a topic this week because I knew this was going to be the topic this week.
Okay. That's funny. I've lived both.
You've lived both, as have I, and it's something that I'm always outspoken about. Is it's like my favorite thing to say is it's okay to sound mean sometimes, but never rude. And that's my way of saying the difference between sounding, confident versus sounding arrogant. If you're rude, then you are just an arrogant a hole, and and nobody likes that.
Yeah. I don't think the algorithm will pick up the big pause between the A
Well,
and the whole.
you know what? I'm gonna try to be creative. That's my confidence coming through.
You know, I think that people shouldn't be discouraged if they're in any place along this journey, but I believe it's a journey. I think that you can't have confidence when you don't know what the heck you're doing. That's difficult. And then it's hard to have arrogance when you don't know what you're doing either. RJ is just walking through and he tripped over all my light and internet wires. I almost crashed and burned just now.
That's the fun of life. That's the total fun of doing
It'll
live, you know.
like,
Well, there's an
but
expression, you don't know what you don't know until you know it. Have you heard of that expression?
oh yeah, it gets even better. The more you know you don't know.
Yeah, see? And I
That's
think
my favorite.
that's where a lot of the arrogance comes from. I think it's just like the fact that you don't know what you think you know, but you have no clue that you don't know. And then you're just rambling on about something, and when somebody challenges you and you don't have the ability or the know-how on how to take a constructive criticism or any criticism, and then you get aggravated about it, then you start snapping back at people. E-
Been there also. Yeah. First few and it's funny because everybody's coming from different places of all of this conversation. This is really fun because coming off stage as a new person, not having a lot of confidence, I'm talking on stage because I'm the best qualified in the group of people I'm with, but I still know it's not enough. But I'm better than the group I'm with. So, it's like,
right, right, right.
how does that work? And so at the time, I get off the stage, and part of the aggravation is they're telling me everything I did wrong. And I'm thinking, well, sucker, get up there and do it then. You're not up there doing it. And I would be so mad. And that came out of lack of confidence from me. So that was like, they were like, you talk too much. You drag out the points. You monopolize all the time on stage. You don't let the other speakers speak at all. And I was like, after I was done crying, I wanted to cry and beat them up, at the same time. I was like, God, that's so mean. And I'm thinking, but you don't even get on stage. And when you do a little bit, you suck so bad. How can you talk so bad about me? Well, the truth is, you can notice good and bad in other people, even if you're not good at it. You can tell what somebody else is doing bad. And so I had to I got the confidence now that when somebody tells me something like that, it doesn't affect me in a negative way at all anymore. Because now I have the confidence to know I'm at the top of my game and I'm actually better than most of the people in the field completely when it comes to certain things. If it's color, no, I don't have the confidence. But if it's extensions, I know, and I know what most other people don't know or
And
think they
that's
know.
the beauty of it. That's the absolute beauty of it. It's how they say everybody's a critic, but nobody's got the know-how or the fortitude to get up there to actually do it and to put yourself out there for the critique. Everybody can critique, but you know It's hard. It's hard.
Well, I got to the point now when somebody critiques me. Let me do this. Let me do this. I heard one time, and you don't really get to experience these things right when you hear them. So over time, they start to manifest and become more real in your life. But it was this personality test and how people should get along and can get along depending on what group they're in and all this. But the thing that really stuck with me was a sign of maturity. So when you hear something and you get offended, you get offended, you get offended, and at some point you get over it and you get better, right? And I don't know how long that is for you, but it's different for everybody. And so the sign of maturity or maturing is the shorter that aggravation time is. And so if you think about it like that, it's a time. It could be a few seconds, it could be days, it could be weeks or years. Some people don't get over childhood offenses their whole life. And most of us would classify them as very immature adults. And the difference is when somebody says something now, a critique of me, yeah, I might be like, so what? I get mad for a second. Some things hurt more than others, right? But if I get mad for a second, but I realize like, hey, I'm the one out there in the public. What are they thinking of me? Is it something I can improve on? Could I do it differently? I still may not like it or like them for what they said, like the ballerina, I still, and I play it up for fun on video, but something about a guy ballerina, it just didn't like my, so I'm reliving all the stuff we're talking about. All the stuff I was just talking about.
I knew this was going to happen to you.
All of that stuff that I was talking about was early on in my career of talking on stage. Now the new stage is social media, like this.
Is the comment section.
Yeah. So the comment section, some people have said that we talk over. I know they mean I talk over you. We talk over each other sometimes. And I'm like, screw you. Go do your own two guys chat. Or two complainers chat, two whiners chat. Call it two haters chat,
But that's awesome.
But the other one I'm getting lately is a hair replacement video I do, and people are just a few are saying that my hair looks good too, my hair system. They think I have one on. They think my hair's not real.
That is always because you have too much hair.
I know.
Like the joke I make about Carmelina, I make it about you as well. When they was passing out hair at the buffet, you guys got greedy, man. You guys went multiple times. You didn't just go once and take your share and then go sit down. You went back for fourths and fifths. Forget about seconds and thirds.
So the latest one that is actually getting to me a little bit, and I'm having to practice what I preach on it, is it's a little bit of a common theme. So not a ton. It's a video I have so many like, oh my God, that looks great. Looks amazing. What a good teaching video. It's a 4-part series of me doing a guy's hair named Lorenzo. And so it was an hour-long video. It was too long to put on Teachable, so we broke it up into 4 13 to 15-minute segments. So we loaded it up on YouTube like that. It's one of our most watched videos, because it's basically me doing hair replacement from beginning to end. If you watch the 4-part series, it's one of our most watched. People are loving it. So many great comments. People are saying I brought it to my stylist to watch before he put my hair on my head. But all of a sudden, over the last couple of months, I got about 3 or 4 people that just comment, "You talk too much."
It's a tutorial.
That's what I say. I know. So the fact that I've got it a few times makes me have to reflect and think, how could I do it different? I mean, I'm teaching. How do you teach without words? I don't.
Shut up.
So I tell them, turn your volume off. I mean, that's what I comment. I answer their comment back, and I said, that's an easy. There's this one guy that I like to watch who does tractor videos, because I got a tractor, I got this new Kubota tractor about a year ago, or less than a year, beginning of, I don't know, maybe middle of last year. Less than a year, so I'm trying to do all the things right, I'm trying to do all the maintenance right, and I watching the videos to make sure I'm not doing anything wrong, I'm using it properly so I don't break it. And I watched this one guy, and he says, one of the common comments I get is that I talk too much and I talk too fast. So if you don't like hear my voice, you are welcome to turn the volume off. I thought that's a great idea. And so if some of you guys just like looking at our faces during the two guys chat, but you think we talk too much,
What, just like a bobblehead? Just watch us being a
yeah,
bobbleheads.
just watch us like this.
I tell you. Oh, that's
Why
hilarious.
do people watch YouTube and then say you talk too much? It's a video and audio area of our life. It's the weirdest comment that pisses me off.
It really is weird, and it's something where I've always said this. If getting somebody to comment on something, good or bad, obviously you always prefer a good comment over a bad comment.
That's why I answer the bad ones. But either way, they're interested.
Right. If somebody's taking, if somebody took that extra time and it struck them in such a way, positive or negative, that they're taking the moment to say something, think about it. There are 10 other people who share the same idea who didn't say anything, good or bad, right? So
that's why I think I might talk too much.
You this is why you think you talk too much. So here's the thing. You give me feedback all the time. I give you feedback all the time. I never get upset at your feedback. You always, and you're hilarious because you'll be like, I'm trying to be nice about this, but I
can't. I know. I'm not good at being nice.
Like, I'm not good at being nice about this. I just got to tell you straightforward.
You suck at this.
And I tell you all the time. I actually appreciate the straightforward. I don't like the monkey around the bush or monkey in the bush or whatever, the bee in the bush or whatever it is, I just tell me straight and let's dissect this thing and let's
So can you have confidence when you're brand new and not really good at anything yet?
Yeah, you can have confidence and you can have arrogance. You can have them both,
Oh, the arrogance I see, because to me, arrogance is like people trying to fake confidence when they don't really know what they're doing. So arrogance is easy to have no matter what.
Think about this.
But how do you have confidence?
What really is confidence? Like, by definition, confidence means you have a strength in something. Okay, fine. That's the plain, simple definition of confidence. But really, as a human being, it's such a weird word that too many people, unfortunately, they struggle with it.
Yeah.
So is it confidence in yourself? And what is that confidence in yourself? The ability to speak, the ability to do, the ability to share and show. It really gets subdivided down into different aspects of what we're doing. Now, when it comes to hairdressing, there's so many different things involved. So now you got to be able to communicate because you got to have that confrontation.
I like where you're going with this because I think you're right. I think when you say confidence in the beginning, I'm assuming we meant in the hair industry, but you're right. If you're a good, nice, honest person, you can be confident in the little bit you might know. As long as you're honest about it and you're not lying.
You could look somebody in the eye and hold a conversation with them, and you're not trying to like backstab them or squeeze something out of them, right?
And you can be totally confident in saying, I have no idea what I'm doing today.
This is exactly.
But I am going to give it a try if you want to work with me. If not, I understand. So, yeah, I'm going with the total, like, no skill, but total confidence. Yeah. I'm very confident that I know nothing about these foil highlights we're going to do today. Exactly. You still want to try it? Because I do. And many times they'll say yes. Or if they say no, you can be still very comfortable, not rude, nice, not arrogant, completely confident, and completely incompetent.
But incompetent is experience. That's not confidence or arrogance. That's
or a lack of experience, right? And that's fine. That's what I'm saying. It's still a nice feeling to have somebody say, I don't know. And you're like, thank you. Thank you for not lying to me. I swear, when somebody says, I don't know, I can't tell you how happy I am to hear that comment so often. It's not that often because most people feel real uncomfortable not knowing things. And they got to, I think, just shut up. I don't care what you think. I want you to know it or not know it and say, I don't know, but I'll try and find out. And you're like, thank you. When I'm ordering food at a restaurant, my wife is, we're always about, are the dressings homemade? I'm not sure. I think, shut up. Just shut up and go in the kitchen and you don't know.
Right.
Don't start guessing at my table. I know you in a hurry and got other tables to serve. Go find out. It's okay that you don't know. So yeah,
that's a level of confidence. Now, here's the flip side. If you don't know, okay, that's if you don't know. If you do know what you're doing and you're explaining to somebody how you're going to do it, and now they challenge you, do you say to them, hey, do I tell you how to do your job? Do I come into your job and bitch and moan at you? How do you respond? Or do you respond like, listen, I understand you're asking questions. I understand you're curious. This is my process. This is how I do what I do. You may have gotten it done this way somewhere else, but over here, this is how I do things, So how do you so now the ability to respond to somebody is a very fine line also between sounding confident or sounding arrogant really quick, depending on how upset you get, when somebody's challenging what you actually do know when you know it.
Can you look up, because I know you're good at Google searches, look up Connie Podesta books. Connie Podesta, something like Getting Rich Selling to Women or How to Make a Fortune Selling to Women, something like that. We have it, one of our YouTube videos, I talked about it, but what you're talking about is a choice here. So, right. So confidence has something to do with being comfortable with who you are. And then do you lie about who you are? Because, when people say fake it till you make it, I don't really like that saying very much, because that's saying lie and hope you get away with it. That's basically what that's saying. I think you should try and
she's got a lot of books.
I think you should try to be honest. But I was in the airport one time and I saw this book, and it said, did you find the name of this one? What's the name of it?
Make a Fortune Selling to Women. The deal makers and deal breakers you must know to close the deal every time.
Make a Fortune Selling to Women. I see this title. First I see Make a Fortune. I'm like, yep. That's me. I want to make a fortune. I'm in the airport. They display the newer books out there, and it's in the front. And I see it, and I immediately feel guilty. Like, I don't want anybody to see me, because I feel like it's like I felt like I read How to Take Advantage of Women and Make Money. That's what I felt like when it says Make a Fortune Selling to Women, and I thought that can't be. Well, then I saw author Connie Podesta. And I ironically had just recently heard her on some podcast somewhere, and I knew she was a Christian speaker, spoke at a lot of churches and Christian rallies. So in my head, I'm like, Christian, she's supposed to be a good lady, but she's going to teach me how to get rich selling to women. And she's a woman. She can't be selling out her gender, So I had a little bit of a little war going on up there. You can get it. You get it, right?
Existential crisis.
Yeah. That's what was happening. That's a word I don't think I can say. You
I
found
don't know
the word?
if I pronounced it correctly or not, but that's...
I was having an existential crisis. I don't know how to say that word. The tables have turned. Yes, but so then when I realized she's a Christian, I knew, like, this is just clickbaity before clickbait was a word. Type a title. I pick the book up. I read the foreword. I buy the freaking book. And this was the book that turned me. Let me fix my hair just a little bit here. This was the book that turned me in just about a week from arrogant to nice.
Okay.
And I'm still not. I mean, my wife would say I still have a ways to go, and I probably should read the book again. But I had went from not knowing what I was doing to a confident hairdresser to that kind of hairdresser that was like, okay, get to the point. Okay, yeah, I got it. Stop explaining. I know what you want now. Got it. I'll do it. And then they were like, are you sure you understand? Well, I tell you what, if you don't like it at the end, just don't ever come back to me. I mean, I got a lot of clients. I'm making a lot of money. I know what you want. I know what the trends are. I can do a great job. I'm sick and tired of hearing all these words, and I would just got so arrogant because I felt like it was being efficient. That's what I thought I was being. Less words, shut up. We'll get the job done and you'll be happy. Everybody is. I'm really freaking good, And so I went from nothing to confident to arrogant. And I didn't see it. It was just a smooth transition. I was that hairdresser that they would say, well, when you go to him, he don't even ask you how you want your hair done. He just does it. Yeah. And they like it. So what am I going to say?
Okay, I got a question for you because you're
Go
really
ahead.
okay. Now you're bringing up a great point,
A
and
lot of people are there and never get out of it. But this book is what changed me. So we'll get back to the
yeah,
book in a minute.
yeah. But you brought up a great point because I hear and I see this happen time and time again. Do you think? So here's my question: do you think the reason why you start off confident and then you turn arrogant is because, like you were saying, too many words? I know what you want. I know what the trend is. You just get so tired of hearing the same or similar thing over and over and over from so
Yeah,
many
that's
people
part of it.
that as soon as they walk in, you're like, all right, you got this type of hair, and you're starting off by saying this. I know you're going to be asking for this. I've done it 100 times already. Let me just get here
Right.
we go again, right?
Right. I can look at their hair and know what they're coming for, right? Or know what they're coming to get fixed. I mean, I can. Their head and hair tells a story, and that's a great place to get as a stylist. But you don't have to be mean or rude about it either, you know.
No, you can
And
be
so
mean about it, just don't be rude about it. I can't. I got to double down on my saying. That's my
that's
saying.
funny. That's funny.
And what do I mean? Because being mean is sometimes the truth hurts.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
you
That's a
got
good
enough
point.
hair. You just got to flat out say,
Oh,
look, you don't
right.
have to look like that.
Right. Like I want to, yeah, they bring the picture of the platinum blonde in and they saw Kim Kardashian go from black to white hair and they're wondering like, oh, why I want to do it too. And it's like most people can't. And we don't know how much damage has happened there and how much extension she might have to be filling in all the broken hairs. I mean, it can be done and a lot of people are doing it, but there's some people also that are box dyeing their hair with the wrong progressive dyes that are just so much molecule in there. You're just not removing it without removing hair also. So, right, just saying no, which comes across as mean. This is what I want. No. You don't even have to say anything else. No, that's mean to some people. So what you're saying mean may not actually be mean, but might be perceived
But be
as mean.
perceived as mean, and you got to be
Yeah,
sensitive to that as well too.
you got to try.
Was
You got
that
to
covered in
try.
your
And
book at all, or no?
well, you know what I loved about the book, and I mean, there's a lot in the book. It's a great sales book. It's pretty simple read, big words. I tell you what, it's an easy read. I'm not a big reader or a fast reader. I love education, but I like to have it read to me. And I love the new world of audio books, But I read this one on the plane over the next week or two. I don't remember how fast, but it book's been out for a long time. But what I loved about it was she did bring me inside the brain and thinking of a woman compared to a man, in her opinion. And it made so much sense. Oh my God, it was like she read my mail. So, first of all, as stylists, we have a lot of choices to make. And I'd say I love divides. I like great divides. And I think one of the great divides in the hair business is, are you going to do more men or women? Yeah, sure, you can do men and make money, but in my opinion, when you go to the men's side, you've got a lot easier to not make money, and you can make a lot of money if you choose to do certain things in the men's world to make more money off of guys that are willing to spend the money. But I feel like that's a harder road than on the women's side. Well, sure, you can do low end women, but there's a lot more poor women that are going to spend a lot of money on their hair, as well as people that can afford their hair and spend money. So I just feel like you can make more money. And I would think most people would agree, move into chemical and color services on women if you want to make money in the hair world. That's just like a common belief for so many years. Of course, we go into even more specialty things with hair replacement and hair extensions and straightening treatments, to be a more profitable stylist. But what Connie kind of covered was she kind of clarified something. I realized that doing more women's services was more profitable. But some of the things that stuck with me forever is she said, when you do a woman's selling something, when you're selling something to a woman, it wasn't just hair, obviously, because she was talking about all kind of things. She said, when you're selling to a woman, she asks questions, right? And then you answer them, and then she asks you the same question again. And you get so mad because you think she's stupid or forgetful, and she's forgot she already asked the question. I'm like, yes, it pisses me off so much. And I was like, God, she knows me. And I'm thinking, how does she know this? And she said, we're not stupid. We're doing it on purpose. We're investigators. We're interrogators. We want to see if you keep answering the question the same way. We ask you 3 or 4 times to see if you are true to what you say you're going to be. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, crap. They're not stupid or just trying to be aggravating or maybe thinking I'm not hearing, so to ask it again. I'm like, I already answered that question, Susan. Susan, I've answered that question twice now. I already, that was the attitude I had. But what she said was, women are the money spenders and controllers of the house. They control the money in most houses. And so they're interrogating you to see if you're going to be nice and polite the whole way through. And I wasn't. And some would still stay with me anyway, because I had that no bedside manner, but I had the good service, so I kept enough clients from good service. I'm sure I lost enough from being rude also. But when Connie said they're testing you, they're interrogating you, you're in an audition and you don't even know it. They're auditioning you, and when you get accepted into the fold because you pass everything, they like you, you're honest, you answered the same multiple questions the same way, maybe different ways to explain the same thing, so they get a good feeling that you can be trusted. They then are yours for life. They send in their husband, they bring their kids, they bring their friends. So if they bought a car from you, they will buy cars from you for life. They will be your best marketing and advertising. And I was like, I'm an asshole.
But it's a psychological and an emotional connection. For women, it's a stronger psychological and an emotional connection than it is for men. But everybody, we all do it. And I'll simply tell you like this. If you like a certain drink, oh, I've had this with you before. You prefer Starbucks. You will be willing to spend the extra monies to go purchase Starbucks over a Dunkin' Donuts, for example. That is your perceived value. That is your connection to it. So it doesn't matter if you're saving the money or not. It's that kind of connection that you make. That's what women do. That's what everybody does. When somebody is asking you a question and you answer it the first time, when they re-ask you that question, either identically or they re-ask you that question in a different kind of way, sometimes you want to blow your brains out and you're like, man, how many times do I have to repeat myself? I get it.
Right.
I absolutely get it. But here's the thing. Unfortunately, there is too much of that mentality of fake it till you make it. And unfortunately, there's too much of that mentality of giving some answer is better than giving no answer. And
I believe you.
It's 100% your fault and every other parent fault out there. This is why I don't have children, so I get to make fun of you and everybody else. And no, I'm joking. My mother used to get insanely aggravated at me if I did not have an answer. If I said I don't know, though, I would get smacked in the face. I was not allowed to have the words, the response, I don't know, was not allowed to exist. I needed to make a command decision, wrong or right, and I needed to give an answer. And if it was the wrong answer, I'd still suffer the consequences, and I still got smacked thinking back on it now. But it wasn't as hard as saying I don't know, versus if I gave the right answer, at least I had the right answer. At least I had.
But I have kids, and I know that most of the time they do know the answer, and they just say that. So I get where your mom was going with that. It was like, you're saying I don't know out of laziness. You got think a little. What'd you learn in school today? I don't know.
No, I don't know.
You know something. Name something. I learned how to eat. I mean, say something.
It's a connection that you're trying to make with that person, and when they're not
That's
giving you,
interesting
when they're not
that I
feeding
might be
you
ruining my kids
back.
by doing the same thing.
No, you're helping them by because look at what a beast I've turned into now that I've grown up. Or
If
at
you
least I think
really
I've
don't
grown up.
know, it's a fine answer. But too often with kids, they do know. The parents are wanting something. I'm trying to teach them communication, thoughtful, meaningful, actual dialogue, not just always say I don't know. That's interesting. I
Well,
never thought that.
that's the whole thing. So now you grow up as an adult, and if your go-to is I don't know, people are going to be turned off from that. People are not going to
Right.
respond to
True.
that. People are not going to become invested in that.
That's a good
Now,
point.
when somebody re-asks you the question again, and you're like, man, so when you answer it the first time and you got it right, the person
Yeah.
is satisfied with that response. When they re-ask you again, you're like, I gave the right answer. What the hell? So now you're sitting there going, well, I'm not going to answer you again, and it's not my problem. You can't remember crap.
Right.
They're either they like the sound of your voice, either they understood and they did agree with what you said, but they on their side are not confident with that plan or with that answer. So
And
they're
hearing it
just
again
needing a
will build
reassurance to
their
hear it
yeah.
again.
Hearing it again will build their confidence. Right. And hey, bottom line is they're paying. They're paying.
This
If
is
they
the
want to
thing.
spend the time talking about the same thing over and over, we should be nice enough to answer it multiple times. If it eats into the service time, maybe
Yeah.
you just reschedule the service time. I guess you just wanted to pay to talk today, kind of attitude. And maybe they're fine with that. So yeah, just lightening up, being more nice and polite, and realizing that people pay for more than just the good service. They pay for the relationship.
Well, it's a
Also.
sales technique because that
Or they
relationship,
stay for the relationship.
well, because it's two things. It's twofold. It's called perceived value, and it's called the okay, not okay scenario. So the perceived value is simply this. And I literally had this conversation with Carmelina this morning. I was looking at getting a consultation phone call with somebody about social media, and it was $147 for 30 minutes. And I said, I'm thinking about it. I might actually sign up for this. And she goes, $147 for 30 minutes? Are you out of your mind? I said, all right. I said, let's talk about this. I said, here's the perceived value. She goes, what the hell is perceived value? I go, you do it all the time. You just don't realize. I can spend the next 2-3 days researching it by myself. I could be all stressed out sitting here at this desk. You're going to walk into this room 5 or 10 times and you're going to say, babe, can you just get away from the computer for a minute? Just go on a
Right.
walk with me. Like you're
Or you can
stressing
get all the
yourself
answers
out,
in
right?
30 minutes and pay for the time.
Or I could just get the whole thing in 30 minutes, right?
If you believe the answers are there.
If I
Right.
believe the answers are there. Now, is if I put it to you that way, is my aggravation for the next 2-3 days worth $147? She goes, oh, you should sign up for it right now. I'm like, okay, because she knows how I get
Right.
when I get aggravated, and she doesn't want me to get aggravated. Not that I
Right.
want to get aggravated either. So that's the perceived value. Now, the second half to that is the okay, not okay. We might be okay, but if the person is not okay, we have to purposely bring ourselves down to make ourselves seem worse than the other person so the other person can lift us back up. Or we have to be such a pillar, like such a, what's the word, foundation, like that rock to lean on. We have to be such a form of strength for them that they can lean on us until they pick themselves back up, until they're at a level where they're okay with themselves. Then you'll notice where they stop asking questions and the appointments start turning into, what do you want to do today with your hair? Do you want to do like this or do you want to do like that? Whereas in the beginning or the first couple of visits, they might say, well, what are my options if I do this? What are my options if I do that? To all of a sudden, fast forward a couple of visits, they're like, oh, Bernard, I trust you. Do whatever you want. Everything you do is amazing. I love everything you do. Because you've gotten to that point with clients as well, too, have you?
Right. Yep.
So that's where now they're at a level where they are just as okay with you as you are with them. And now they start using words like I trust you, or they use words like do whatever you want, I believe you, I love you, or whatever they say. and then there's no
I
more
don't-
questions.
Okay, goodbye.
Now, what are some things, what are some tips that you would give somebody to help them perceive that they are confident, or for them to start becoming confidence? Because confidence doesn't necessarily come with time. It's a practiced skill set that needs to be leveled up. I don't believe confidence just naturally evolves over time. I think you got to work at it.
Well, I think like what you said at first, though, is just being honest, first of all. Uh, I think just being honest is going to look like it is confidence. I never thought about that till today when you were talking about, I was saying you can't be confident when you don't know anything yet, but you actually can be confident in the very little bit that you do know. And then not thinking you have to make things up or lie about the things you don't know is the beginning of confidence. And then since we just did that, it's almost like we defined confidence. It's like knowing what you know, but being okay not knowing things. So now, how do you get more confidence? More skill, more experience. So learning these new services, practicing them, skill services, whatever it is you want to get better at in your life, you have to do them and then be confident. I mean, honest that you're not good at them with the client that you're doing them on, because that's confidence. It's funny because I never thought of being not so good at something could look like confidence, because I immediately thought confidence meant skilled, but you can be super confident that you're very little skilled. Then you can be confident in the fact that you've got this medium skill, and then you can be super confident that you've gotten better at it. So I think that confidence is, and this is just something I'm just realizing in real time,
In real time.
that it's completely wrapped up in honesty, being
Such
honest to the
honesty.
people around you. So the better you get at things, and you just continue to be honest about your skill level, that's confidence. And confidence is attractive. And so that's why the in high school, sometimes you would wonder why, like for it seemed like it was always about the girls and the guys, how the relationships happen, who's jealous of who because of who got who. And the joke was always like, how did that ugly guy get that pretty girl, kind of thing. And they would say, it's his confidence. And or he's got a sense of humor. But sense of humor is confidence. If you got good jokes and you can feel good about saying them and delivering, and everybody laughs, that's a skill that came from practice and then confidence. And yes, sometimes that's all it took was confidence to get the job you want, get the girl you want, get the guy you want. Because even on the other side, people don't think about it, because girls, same thing. You start talking to a girl and she's not confident in who you are, she becomes less attractive. And so, good looking or not, a girl who is confident in who they are, just honest about who they are. If they've got shortcomings and they say it immediately, it's more attractive. They're like, I'm not really good at that, but I'm trying. You're like, oh, that's sweet. She's so honest. And it comes across as a weird confidence, confident that I'm not good at this yet, but I'm gonna. So I don't know. It's really weird. I've never really thought about confidence being wrapped up in just being honest.
And just being honest. My advice is, and I think I'm saying this correctly, dictation. So the way you use your words and the way you use your voice
Yeah,
while
that's
you're
dictation.
speaking your words, that's
Yeah,
dictation. Okay. As you know, and
it can be.
as you relentlessly make fun of the way I say things, because it is hilarious. It's something that is, I don't it's been an interesting ride. I don't speak so good sometimes. I don't
Right,
use
and you
proper
never
words
will.
sometimes. And I never will, apparently, no matter how many expressions I learn or how much
And that's
vocabulary I learn.
called mean.
I have been in
Just give up.
classes, I have been in meetings, I have been on stage. I've had foreign people ask me, where am I from? I've had foreign people, when a foreign person says to you in their heavy accent, where is your accent from? I love it. That is one of the most hilarious things to me ever, because it's like you sound just as bad as I do. Like, what are you talking about? But this is something that I've picked up over the years.
Do you consider yourself foreign when you say foreign?
I was raised foreign, but I am American, man. I was born in New York, for the love of God. I am, as an American, I am more patriotic than half the people that are like fifth generation born here. Are you
Right.
kidding me?
But you were raised so foreign, feel and relate.
It's insane. It's
That's funny.
insane. So,
Okay. So
yeah,
where were you going when I interrupted you just now?
where I'm
So we
going with this is, one of the things I've always learned to do, and one of the things that I've always noticed as well, is when you speak, don't do the Valley Girl. I don't know the right way how to say it, but don't do the Valley Girl thing where your voice rises up at the end of your sentence. Finish off your sentence. It's going to make you sound stronger. Just by default, it'll make you sound stronger because it sounds like you're speaking with command into your voice.
That's good. Yeah.
Versus
Confidence in your voice.
confidence in your voice, versus when you're finishing your sentence like this and it sounds like you're asking a question and then you don't know.
That's so good.
It's irritating.
Oh, I hate it. I hate
It's
it when you're doing it
irritating.
right now. That's so
Right.
funny that you can do it so well.
But a lot of people speak like that. Now, for whatever reason they speak that way, it is whatever the reason is. I don't understand it fully myself. But when you finish your sentence in your mind with a period at the end, and that is it, it's a final thought. You're going on to your next sentence. It's just going to come out more commanding sounding, which that's a level of confidence.
So I think what you're saying is you know, confidence is maybe separate from what you're talking about, but that is something that can make you sound more confident over time, is to develop your speaking, communication skills. And you
Yeah.
know what's good with that is joining. I think one of the cheapest ways to do this is joining. I've never done this particular one. I didn't, oh my God, I didn't know about it till I did the more expensive programs. But they have something called Toastmasters. Have you heard of Toastmasters?
No. What is this?
Toastmasters, I always thought of like a toaster and burnt bread, and I always wondered why why it had anything to do with toast. But you know how when people are at parties and they say, "Let's make a toast,"
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm thinking, "Oh God, don't look at me to make the toast. I have no idea what to say. To health, clean, I don't know what to say." But people can just all of a sudden start saying so many words to toast the occasion or the time of year or something that makes sense in the moment. I don't know if they pick, it could be a biblical Christian setting, it could be a wedding, it could be a business setting, but they'll have the appropriate, like Jude, he would know all the right words
Yeah. He's
to say
fantastic on the fly.
on the fly in the moment. He could make a toast immediately. And so knowing what words to use, what words not to use when you're speaking. One of the ones I'm trying to get out of my vocabulary is, that I was getting ready to say the words, and because people end every sentence with, and I'm like, no, I don't know. And trying to get the word like out because I say like too much, like this, like, and there's words for what those words are. I mean, some people call them crutches. There's a bunch of different. Do you know any of the words for what those words? Like when you say I just said like.
And like, I do it a lot. I say right. I do that. It's a filler, and it's a filler when when your mouth is going faster than your brain and your brain can't catch up. You got diarrhea or the mouth going on. You will start saying words like that, and your brain is trying to catch up with your thought. Your thought isn't fully developed yet. So
It's better just to be silent.
It's better to be silent. I'm very proud of you today because the first half of this live, you got excited and you're rambling on and you speak very fast to begin with anyways. That's just your speed. But halfway through, you've started slowing down your speech. And that's something I always say to you. Conversely, you've always said to me, I pause too long. I pause too often, and my pauses are too long. I'm having to translate. Because I was raised very foreign, I think in Armenian first, and then I think in Italian, and then I speak in
Oh
English.
my
So there's a delay. There's a translation delay before it comes out of my mouth. And
Yeah.
sometimes that pause, people get confused. They're like, is he done talking? Or is he just doesn't know what the hell he's talking about? What is he doing? What is happening? So I've had to force myself to not pause as long.
So Toastmasters is like a group that you can join locally. People will get together and they go through some speaking skills, teach you how to talk better, how to make public presentations.
Oh, nice.
They, yeah, you'll meet at some local hotel room or some coffee shop, I don't know, and they'll talk about. I've only heard little bits and pieces about it. I've never been to a Toastmasters group, but it's just one of the first least expensive ways to get into learning more about how to publicly speak, do public speaking, and I guess do toasts. I don't know if toast is a big part of it or if it's just called Toastmasters, but it's how to master speaking, master toasting. And I've always loved that because I came from a world where I was never going to get up in front of people and talk. And then all of a sudden it happened in my life through some weird turn of events in the extension world. And I feel so much freer knowing that almost at any time I could get up in front of a group of people and talk.
Talk.
And that is, do you know on the list of biggest fears people have, it's in the top 3. It might be the top 2.
Public
I mean,
speaking you're talking about?
yeah, public speaking is
That's
one
so
of the
wild.
top. If you look it up, I mean, dying, I think, comes after public speaking, so public speaking has always been one of the top 2 or 3 fears of most people. Like, no way, I would never talk in front of people. And I had that big fear. I don't know if I'd have called it one of my top fears. The only reason I would not call it a top fear because I was confident enough to think I don't have to do it. I'm just not going to ever do it. So I was just kind of full of myself. I'm like, I'm not scared of public speaking. It's never going to happen. So I don't have to be scared of it. Nobody's going to make me do it. So there's nothing to be feared, is how I thought. But the truth is, when I was in school and I had book reports and I was getting graded and getting zeros for it, there was some negative feelings like, oh, mom and dad are going to be mad, but oh well,
Yeah,
I'm
right.
no reason why anybody should make me talk in front of people. This is just wrong. School shouldn't even make you do that. This was my bad attitude. And so I just got zeros, never did a book report in front of people. I didn't think it was necessary. So I like the schools that promote more public speaking for all the kids. Yeah, get up and tell us about that. I'd love to hear get used to talking in front of people. It's a powerful thing, and I think it's important to be able to do it. And it teaches you how to, like you're saying, how to communicate. So I have mixed feelings. You do tell me I speak too fast, and I have to take parts of that and fix parts of it, but not all of it, because there's also a reason I do it, and I do it on purpose. Because when I'm passionate about a topic, I notice that people's heart rates go up and their passion level and their excitement level go up. When I talk faster, they get more interested, their heart rate goes up, and they get more involved in the story. So it's almost like a building in like a song that gets a faster and faster tempo.
I,
And
I
so
I can agree with you, but you're Southern. You have an unfair advantage because you already.
Southerners talk slow. Southerners are slow. It's the New Yorkers that are fast talking.
I'm no a new. I can say 3
But what do
thoughts
you
in one
mean? What's
sentence.
my advantage?
You Southerners move slow. You don't necessarily speak slow. You combine sentences into each other.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah, that's true.
So it's wild. Do you know what improv comedy? Do you know the question game? Have you ever played that before? Or have you ever heard of that?
Hmm.
So that's an exercise that I like to do with people, especially when they're first starting off. Say hairdressers that are first starting off when they're in training. I'll play the question game with them. You have to continue a conversation for as long as possible by only answering a question with another question and never finishing with a full answer because then that'll end the conversation. And the longer you can keep that going, the more it teaches you to improv, the more comfortable you get with speaking. It raises your communication skills, and it's a way of building confidence as well too.
That's pretty good. So one of the biggest things I did learn about speaking on stage, especially if there's someone else there, is to try not to monopolize all the time, because I do get excited and want to tell the whole story of everything from the beginning of my life till the present, and I can do that for like 2 or 3 hours straight, and nobody else gets a chance to talk. So I do have to be conscious of how much time we have and what's my fair allotted time. Like, should I introduce everybody first
Mm.
or just talk about the product for a little while and then introduce everyone? I have to consciously think of that. And if I don't, I'll get caught up in just talking about the product and the story and how I got involved and why I'm so excited. So you should be too. And then I forget anybody else is in the room with me, and then y'all are all standing there. I thought he wanted our help. Don't need it now, guys. Go. you know, I thought I needed help. I got this, but I've learned that I've got to get to my point kind of quick and then just stop and see if other people want to talk, no matter what. Just, even if I don't have a good plan of who should talk or why or when, just stop and let other people join in if they want to. Is usually a better experience for everybody, even if I don't understand why. Because in the moment, I'm so excited. I feel like everything I have to say is, this is the criticism I have for Jude lately as friends. He's going through the same thing I went through. You think you got the answers and the excitement and the best way to put this thought forward, that if other people are in the room and they want to add to it, it's like, no. I'm way better than all of y'all at this. Let me finish and everybody will get it better. And it's like, not necessarily true. Even if you believe it, it's not necessarily true. Stop and let other people join in, because sometimes, and most of the time, the whole conversation is way more fulfilling for everyone in the room, especially if you just have listeners in the room, like an audience. They get way more out of it if they hear from multiple people, because sometimes other people's tone of voice, angles, experiences are something they can relate to better than yours, even though you might think, no, my story is the best. I mean, and that comes from confidence. So sometimes confidence can be bad. Too much confidence.
Too much confidence can be bad, and if you don't let other people speak, then everybody's turned off, and then they're looking at you as you're arrogant now. You're not just confident anymore, even though you was. So those are multiple examples of how to be confident, how to gain confidence, and how that's such a fine line. If you push it just a little too hard, or if you push it just a little too strong, or in some situations too long, it becomes arrogance.
I can't believe we are almost at an hour. This one went fast.
This one went really fast. This was a fun one.
It was.
This was definitely a fun one.
I do have some other things to get to, so I've got to go today. I'm so sorry.
I
You can keep going without me if you want.
I'm not that confident. No, excuse me. I'm not that arrogant. I know when to stop.
All right.
Let us know in the comment sections, everybody. Thank you all for watching. Give us a follow, give us a like, and we will catch you all next week.
And Eddie begs you to subscribe.
Because I am confident in asking.